Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. So it's been absolutely crazy this past, I don't know how many hours in this football transfer window. So where else do we start with? We start with the Newcastle United sort of section of football transfers. So apparently Newcastle United have made a formal bid for Benjamin Sesko, for the RB Leipzig striker Benjamin Sesko, and it's about 75 million euros. Um, Guaranteed, and then 5 million euros in add-ons. So I think people are saying it's close to, at least it's closer to what RB Leipzig have said they wanted. And for me, I think Newcastle United, if you want to get your man, these sort of offers you have to make. And so this is what David Honesty put out on his X. So he said Newcastle United submitted offer to RB Leipzig for Benjamin Sesko. Bid made last 24 hours worth 75 million euros plus 5 million euros around asking price. RB Leipzig informed to suitors. MUFC pursuit ongoing, no decision yet from 22-year-old Slovenian international striker. I'm guessing he's taking his time, so fair play to him. But overall, for me, if I were to go to a club, I would go to Newcastle United. I know some people say, oh, because you don't like Manchester United. I don't know, maybe. But the deal with Manchester United is that's still a mess. And you have the pressure of Hoyland. And what do I mean by pressure of Hoyland? Hoyland hasn't performed well. So you go into Manchester United the first five, first 6 games, you don't hit it out of the park, instantly the fans will be on your back. So for me, I think he should be going to Newcastle United, in my opinion. But let's see what he decides. But I think this is a brave move from Newcastle United. A lot of people are saying that means they'll have to sell Isak to Liverpool because of PSR and FFP considerations, things like that. And well, let's see if that happens. But this big move from Newcastle United, let's see what Manchester United would do. It's fair play. Keep your options open until the club actually accepts the offer. You know, when the club accepts the offer, when RB Leipzig goes on to say, yeah, we accepted this 80 million euros offer from Newcastle United, then you can show your hands as a player. So at this point in time, you have clubs who are going for your services. Don't lean any way. Don't lean either way. Lean either way, rather. You go for the club, you know, that's agreed terms with your club. So for me, fair play. And then as well, we've got a very big news. Son finally leaving Spurs after how many years? Isn't it close to a decade now at Spurs? So I think he's been a faithful servant to Spurs. And at least he lives on a high. Um, Helped them win the Europa League against Manchester United, incidentally, trashing Manchester United. So overall, I think it's time for him to move. I think he's slowing down in pace a bit, and he's heading to LAFC in the MLS. At least those are the talks we're hearing. No, nothing is confirmed yet. There's all discussion that he probably will be going to LAFC. So let's see how all that would pan out, how all that will shake down. So because I think he's still got enough pace and where he can really be outstanding in an MLS side. But thankfully, I know a lot of MLS fans will be happy that he didn't go to, to Inter Miami, because right now Inter Miami somehow they seem to find a way to get players. Because this DP designated player thing used to be, I used to think it used to be where you just get one or two players, but look at the entire squad. They've got Suarez, they've got Messi, of course, they've got Rodrigo de Paul now, they've got Alba, so they've got Busquets. So it's just madness. They're just signing players like a typical European club would sign. But so overall, fair play, fair play to Son. He's been, I think, a good competitor in the league, though he played for a side that, well, didn't really win anything. And it's a big kudos to him that he actually won something with Spurs. So fair play, he's done well, and wish him all the best in his career. And then as well, I want to talk about the Burnley move. Armando Broja, apparently very close to leaving Chelsea and heading off to Burnley. And some people have said the deal is reported to be worth around £25 million. Some other people saying it's undisclosed. I know someone had put in a tweet and sort of quoted Fabrizio Romano to say the fees believed to be around £25 million. But Fabrizio Romano responded to that sort of tweet and said he never said it was around £25 million. So That means it's undisclosed at this minute in time. At this point in time, I don't know why the clubs are a bit hush about it, but I guess that's their prerogative. From an Armando Broja point of view, I think it's fair play. His time at Chelsea has been beleaguered with injuries, and then you've had managers that, for whatever reason, haven't given him game time. So fair play for him. Hopefully, he can go crush it at Burnley. And I think Burnley are getting a very good striker, especially if he goes there and is not injured. Then I think and stays injury free. And I think that would be an excellent move for both the player and Burnley. So brilliant, brilliant for him. So wish him all the best. At Chelsea, didn't quite work out. Beleaguered with injuries. Went on loan to Everton. I think that was a poorly, planned loan, if indeed it was, because he was never going to play under Sean Dyke. And then as well, all the injuries as well. Southampton, he played. She was impressive there a bit, but fair play. Wish him all the best as well. And then we need to talk about the likes of Nkunku garnering interest from Inter Milan. And for me, I think he will do well at Inter Milan, but the Nigerian side of me is always thinking about Ademola Lookman. Ademola Lookman, why aren't they looking to buy Ademola Lookman? Why aren't Inter making the right offer for Ademola Lookman? And then why Atlanta, I don't get it. You don't want the player. The player is set to leave your club. You've known for a long time, and after this year he's going to be a free agent. After this transfer window, by next January, he'll be able to agree personal terms with a new club. So why don't you let him go? I don't quite get it. And he's gone on to do the classic thing that players nowadays do. When a club doesn't want to let you go on social media and you take off everything that concerns you and the club, everything that concerns the club on your X or on your Instagram. Apparently, that's the new sort of cry out for help or whatever. So fair play. I think at the end of the day, Ademola Lookman would end up somewhere, but it's just that I would have loved him to move to somewhere where he'll be comfortable and ready to go in and play. Inter Milan, I don't know why they're being a bit tight. I think if it's a question of a few million euros, I think you do it and get a player who's proven in that league and show that, yes, he can compete. On the other side of things, I think if Chelsea are able to pull this off and get Nkunku off to Inter Milan, that would be a huge coup for them in terms of the revenue they can get in, and that would be one more name, off the books. Still stick with Chelsea. Let's talk about Raheem Sterling as well, leaving the club. Let's see how that shakes down, because his salary is, I wouldn't say it's crazy, but it's on the high side. And I don't think that that a lot of clubs will be willing to pay the salary like Napoli. They're a big club, of course. They won the Italian Serie A, and they're looking to go in the Champions League again. They have Champions League money. They have money for finishing top of the Serie A, of course. But would they be willing to, pay 300 plus thousand pounds for on Raheem Sterling every week? I'm not quite sure they want to do that. Possibly they'll be looking to share that sort of wage outlay on with 2-3 players. Who knows? So let's see what happens to Sterling. There's of course interest from Fulham. I don't know if that will really come to fruition as well. Let's see what happens. And then of course there's this whole thing around Garnacho. I'm sure Chelsea fans probably will be sick of hearing the links to Garnacho, but it is what it is. It seems someone on the Chelsea board probably, has his eyes fixed on Garnacho. Garnacho, for me, he's not a bad player, but he's not a super fantastic player, in my opinion. So that's all I have to say about that. He's not a super player, in my opinion. He's a player that can come in and do a job for a club, but he's not a player where you stall your entire transfer for. That's one thing for sure. I want to be clear about. And then Estevao Willian possibly could be heading to Chelsea. Not possibly, is heading to Chelsea, and I dropped a message showing his excitement on joining Chelsea. So let's see how that all shakes out. And then speaking about other clubs not in the supposed Big Six, oh, before we talk about that, let's how about we talk about Darwin Nunes? Yeah, Darwin Nunes, a bid has come from supposedly from Al Hilal, the Saudi Pro League for Darwin Nunes. Now, I'm sure now it's not Chelsea, now it's Liverpool. Now, when people say there's some links between Liverpool and the Saudi Pro League, because each time Chelsea sells a player to a Saudi club, there's always the crazy talk about Chelsea having links or having something nefarious to do with to do with a Saudi Pro League club. But understand, Al Hilal have presented their project and plan to Darwin Nunes in recent days. Talks will follow with player and club side to understand the financial details of the deal. Now, if I'm Darwin Nunes, I think I go and take the money for a year because right now I don't think Napoli will take him. Liverpool obviously don't want to have him there. And I don't think Newcastle United would even take him if you're talking about a player swap. So I don't think that's even going to happen. So um, I think he should go to Saudi 1 year at Al Hilal, pack, get the bag, and then come back. So that's what I would advise Darwin Nunes if I was in the position to advise him. But man enough to make his own decision. So Liverpool fans, what do you think about this move? I'm sure you're ecstatic if this comes true. You're ecstatic with this report Darwin Nunes possibly going to Al Hilal, and you're having tons of money in your kitty to invest in Isak as well. And that's the thing about the Sesko thing. If that deal does go through, then that means Newcastle will be more, inclined to sell Sesko. Oh, sorry, will be more inclined to sell Isak because now they've got a striker replacement in the building. Remember what Fabrizio Romano said last time that they shut down. One of the reasons they shut down the bid from Liverpool was because they hadn't gotten a replacement. So now if this pulls through and they get Sesko win, then that means they can now sell Isak. And what then that means for Oli Watkins, I think he then becomes the outright option for a Manchester United. Now, I don't even get why Manchester United are being so picky, given that what really do they have to offer players? Maybe transfer fee, maybe sorry, not transfer fee, maybe huge salary outlay, nothing else football wise, because you can't really say that you can push for the champions, you can push for the Premier League title because look at the business Liverpool have done, look at the business Man City did in January and the other part of this window. Look at the business Chelsea have done as well, and Arsenal have improved. But one of the issues Arsenal had last season wasn't that they were outrightly a bad team, but they didn't have a striker to do the finishing. So for me, I think overall, Manchester United probably will be happy with finishing in Europa League places, maybe Conference League places. So I don't see what really they can offer players apart from a huge payday. So I don't get why they're picking. Oli Watkins is a very good player. It's a very good player that's Premier League proven. I think it comes in and improves them. I think a starting front three of Mbuemo, Cunha, and Mbuemo, Cunha. Starting front three of Mbuemo, Cunha, and Oli Watkins could work a treat for them. I think that's what I think. Honestly, I think that could work perfectly for Manchester United. But they say they want Sesko. Let's see what happens. And the player hasn't yet made any final decision. So fair play to him. And now more transfer news to look at. So for a minute, unless Burnley Wolves agree the deal. Now Javi Simons hasn't trained. He stopped training. He refused to train. Don't like that when that happens, but in this whole transfer business, this whole transfer sagas, that's what you get. He's done the Ademola Lookman thing where he's removed everything concerning RB Leipzig from Instagram handle, and then as well, he did not train. So exclusive Javi Simons did not train with RB Leipzig group on Friday, and he's not expected to be part of the squad today. His decision is clearly oriented to Chelsea move after deleting Leipzig from his Instagram bio. Negotiations are advanced stages between Chelsea and Leipzig. Now, it's good that negotiations are still ongoing. I know these sort of negotiations are not easy, and as fans, sometimes we can be impatient. Want the deal done. And for me, I want the deal done for a different reason because I think Leipzig are in a position where if they sell one of their major players, the door shuts down for the other one. So if they sell Sesko, the door possibly could get shut down for Sesko. If they sell Sesko, the door possibly get shut down for Simmons, or at least it becomes very, very tricky. The negotiation will suddenly become far more complicated than you want or than you would expect. So Chelsea, you want to get this business done, you better get it done quickly. I have some opinions on that one. So overall, it's a player I think Chelsea would need, and I think he's the sort of quality that Chelsea needs right now in the team. So Chelsea fans, let me know those opinions about Javi Simmons possibly joining your club, and talk about Garnacho. Newcastle United fans, what are your thoughts about Benjamin Sesko? Offer has been made, 80 million euros. Do you think they should go a bit above that? Meet the actual demands of RB Leipzig, or you're happy with that price? And what do you think should happen to Isak anyways, if and when this whole transfer thing ends? Let's say he signs Sesko, would you want him sold? If you don't sign Sesko, I think that's even a more important question. If you don't sign Sesko, would you then, still keep Isak at the club? So the questions for you to answer. And Chelsea fans, is Tawaye William excited to join Chelsea? He dropped a video about that on his IG. So from Chelsea fans' perspective, I can't wait. Let's see what he'll do. Let's see what he's all about. Let's see what he would bring to the table, in my opinion. And of course, we must talk about, I've talked about him previously, we must talk about Son. Of course, after announcing his decision to leave Spurs, after how many years of being a very good servant for the club, even when it looked like they will never win anything, he's stuck with them. And now for me, I think he's probably, according to those reports, you have LAFC interested in his signature. So according to Romano, the article says LFC optimistic to get Son deal done with agreement very advanced at final stages. Son has made his decision to leave Spurs and things can now accelerate. So I think overall that's a good move for him to go to the MLS and join LAFC. Now, it would have been a bit funny or odd or a bit tricky if you had decided to go to Inter Miami, because for me, it feels like Inter Miami are just bypassing, all the laws in the MLS. I don't know how it works there, but overall, Son was a very good player. When he was a Bayer Leverkusen, was a player like he joined Spurs. Didn't really care much about him, but he was a very, very good player and someone that touched Chelsea when he had the opportunity to. So especially those positional sides. But overall, good player, living in the Premier League. That's fine. It's good to live on a high because you don't know how the season would look like under Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank, I think, is going in a slightly different direction from Spurs because they're going to be a bit more workmanlike, which is not, there's nothing bad in that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a bit more workmanlike under Thomas Frank. A lot of high pressure, a lot of running, a lot of energy expended, and he's not really getting any younger, obviously. So I think moving at this time to LAFC is the best move for him, in my opinion. And so overall, Tottenham fans, when you think about Son, do you think he's your club legend? Possibly being in the club that long and helping you win the UEFA Conference, the UEFA Europa League title? Yeah, I think he could be a legend in your books. And talking about the Burnley move for Broja, got some opinions on that one. Finally leaving. Would you want the club to insert like a buyout clause or a buyback clause or a resale clause or something? Because I have a feeling that he will do well at Burnley. So let's see how that shakes down. Got some opinion about Sesko as well. I think this is going to have not a boomerang effect. It's going to have there'll be a chain reaction from this. If he goes to Newcastle United, then I think Oli Watkins heads to Manchester United, and then that means Maybe Nico Jackson heads to Aston Villa because, of course, Unai Emery, his former coach, knows all about him, would want him at Aston Villa. I think he would do well at Aston Villa the way they play. But on the other hand, just from perspective, I would like him to remain and play, as a winger. So let's see how that all pans out at the end of the day. And then this Garnacho business. What does an opinion, Chelsea fans? Let's know what you're thinking about Garnacho possibly, heading your way. And then, of course, Jiro Hatto completes his medical at Chelsea and will sign a 7-year deal at Chelsea. So I'm happy with the signing. Just perspective, happy with the signing. There are some folks who are not really keen on Jiro Hatto. They feel he's too young. They feel he's inexperienced. They feel he may not get game time. But I think on the experience part of things, he's played how many games now? 100 plus games. So I think fair play. Fair play. He will play at Chelsea. He has enough experience. You have players who are young, and you have players who are young. But I mean, you have players who are young, 18, 19, haven't played much games, first in games. He's played over 100 games. I did a lot. So I think it's good that he's come to Chelsea and that you have Cucurella ahead of him. But I still think Chelsea fans need a centre back. What do you think? Do you think Chelsea needs a centre back? I think Chelsea needs a centre back, in my own opinion. So, just some opinions on this. Let me know what you think. Rival fans, is this a move that really scares you in any way? You think he improves Chelsea? I think he improves Chelsea from a standpoint of squad depth. So excited to see him at Chelsea and what he will bring. So transfer crazy transfer window. Wolves are looking to sign Jan Lu from Sevilla. So they're trying to sign Jan Lu from Sevilla, but Napoli have also been in negotiations for the player. So I don't know much about the player, but let's see what happens. Let's see what indeed happens. So more on Son's move away from Spurs. So I'll share the screen. Get a statement from Son. So, Son, I have actually Spurs. My decision has been made. I did my best here, and I need a first challenge now. It is the most difficult decision of my life. I came to North London as a kid. I live as a young man. So, fair play. And indeed, I don't think any Spurs fan should begrudge him. I don't think any Chelsea fan should begrudge any player, that's coming and giving his all for the team and does leave on the winning note. So, fair play. He's leaving the Premier League and most likely could end up at LAFC. So fair play to him. Now, more outgoings. Let's go through this. Let's see. We'll talk about Monson, who's gone. So considering to add one more midfielder, a striker. Well, that's it. Not much to talk about. So back to the whole Sesko thing. So for me, I know when Chelsea were linked to Sesko, everyone raved about him, 6'5" and all that, powerful striker, pace, good shot on him, good head of the ball, so high vertical lead, which is good. Let's see what he can do when he heads to the Premier League. That's how he feels, at least. But Manchester United interested, Newcastle United interested, of course, with the bid made by Newcastle United. So that would then mean, obviously, the bid. Obviously, he will be heading to the Premier League, whichever way he decides to go. And I want to see what he can bring to the Premier League. And then, of course, this whole Isak business, Newcastle United, what's going to happen there? Let's see. can Newcastle United really play, have a formation where they have Hugo Ekitike and Isak in the same pitch, on the same pitch? For me, it's a bit of a stretch in my opinion. It's a bit of a stretch. It's a bit of a serious stretch in my opinion. So let's see how that all shapes up. And then, of course, we're talking about Nkunku linked with Inter Milan. The same thing as well. Ademola Lookman linked with Inter Milan. But at this point in time, Inter Milan are playing hardball with Atalanta. All right, two clubs are loggerhead with respect to, you know, um, what offer to or what to do with the offer. Inter have informed, Atalanta informed Inter they're going to reject the offer they made, and it seems Inter stalling a bit because they know the player wants to move and they want to join them. So for me, I just think I want my Nigerian brothers to go to a club that he'll be playing and get his head set right, just like Victor Osimhen has gone to a club. Now has his head set rightly, you know. And so when the World Cup qualifiers come around, the African Cup of Nations come around, he is in the proper headspace, and that's what I want for Ademola Lookman. On the other hand, I want Nkunku gone off the books of Chelsea, not just because I want him sold or anything like that, but now I just think for his own sake and for the sake of the club, it's best he moves. So that's something we have to, that's something that it's just there. Well, something just there. So let's see how that all pans out. If indeed they go back in for Ademola Lookman, or they choose to shift their attention to if they choose to shift their attention to what's his face, choose to shift their attention to Nkunku. But one way or the other, Nkunku has to leave. One way or the other, he has to leave. So as that, and then of course, what else do we have to talk about in terms of transfer wise? I think those are the major transfer news items. We've talked about the Sancho. Now we've talked about Son leaving, obviously. Some opinions on that bit. We've done all you can do as pause the Sesko thing. Where do you think Sesko would land and should land if you were to advise Benjamin Sesko? Where do you think he should land? And then of course Nunez possibly heading to Saudi, heading to Al Hilal. Like I said before, it's a bit strange, it's a bit funny when other clubs are involved. No one makes any noise about it, but once a Saudi Pro League club makes an offer for a Chelsea player, then all hell is let loose. So overall, this transfer window is going to be crazy. It's going to be a crazy one. So at the point I've come to the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Stay well.